Hello children, good morning to all. So how are you all? Yes, hope you all are fine and safe at home. So this is social class and today we are going to see the second lesson in our semester 1 book. So the name of the lesson is Movements of the Earth. Movements of the Earth. So this is the second part of our second lesson. We have seen the first part in our last class itself. So children, do you all remember what are all the topics we have saw in our last session? Yes, we have seen the first part of this lesson in the last session. We have seen the movements of the earth. So basically there are two types of movements of the earth. One is rotation and the other one is revolution. So first, what is rotation? Yes, rotation is the spinning of the earth in its own axis. This is known as rotation. The spinning of the earth in its own axis. This movement is called as rotation. So the earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. So it takes 1 day, which is equal to 24 hours to complete one rotation. So because of the rotation only, we are getting the day and night regularly. So the rotation causes day and night. So this is about the rotation. Then the next one is revolution. Revolution is the earth revolves around the sun in a fixed path called the orbit. This movement of the earth is known as revolution. So the earth will revolve around the sun in a fixed path called orbit. This movement of the earth is known as revolution. Then the earth takes 365 days and 6 hours to complete one revolution in a year. The earth takes 365 days and 6 hours to complete one revolution. So because of this revolution only, the seasons are passing in a year. So we will be getting different seasons in 1 year. Because of this revolution, the seasons are changed. Okay. So I told there are 365 days in a year and the earth takes 365 days and 6 hours to complete one revolution. So we will be having only 365 days in 1 year. But this 6 hours will be calculated for every 4 years once. So this one day will be calculated in the February month. So every year will be having only 28 days in February month, but in the leap year we will be having 29 days in February month. So these 6 hours will be calculated as 1 day for 4 year once. This is known as leap year. So leap years are divisible by 4. For example, 2016 is a leap year, 2020 is a leap year, and in future 2024 is a leap year. So this is what we have seen about the leap year. Next, seasons. Yes, the revolution causes seasons. What are all the seasons the revolution causes? It causes 4 seasons. Basically 4 seasons, but the extra one is also there. First one is spring, autumn, summer and winter. Basically there are 4 seasons. Spring, autumn, summer and winter. So the last extra one is monsoon. Monsoon is nothing but the rainy days. We will be getting the rainy days. No, this is known as monsoon days. First one is spring. In spring season, the new flowers will be started to bloom and new leaves will started to sprout. Then in the autumn season, the leaves will be falling. The leaves will get orange and reddish color and it will fall on the ground. In the summer season, it is a very hottest season. Okay, so we'll be liking to going for swimming or will be liking to drink lemonade somewhere. Then last one is winter season. In winter season, it is one of the coldest season in a year. So monsoon season is called as mild winter. because in rainy season we will be getting cold. So this is known as the mild winter. So this is about the last session explanation. Now we are going to see this session. This session we are going to see how seasons are caused. So we have seen 4 seasons in last class. Now we are going to see how these seasons are caused. How these seasons are caused and how it is changing. So there are 2 reasons for this seasons, for causing of this season. What are those 2 reasons? The tilt of the earth's axis. First one is, I told in the first class itself, the earth is tilted. The earth is slightly tilted. It is not straight. See, it is slightly tilted like this. Tilted means it is slanting. Okay. So because of this position of earth, it causes seasons. So the tilt of the earth's axis. The earth's axis is tilted. Because of this reason, the earth is causing seasons. Then the revolution of the earth around the sun in a fixed path. So I told the earth is revolving around the sun in a fixed path called orbit. Because of this, the seasons are causing. So I told in the last class itself, revolution causes seasons. This is also one of the reasons for which the seasons are causing regularly. So there are 2 reasons for the changing of seasons. What are they? The tilt of the earth's axis. The earth's axis is tilted for how much angle? 23.5 degree. So it is tilted to 23.5 degree. Because of this reason, the seasons are changing. The seasons are caused. The next reason is revolution of the earth. So the earth revolves around the sun in a fixed path called orbit. This is called revolution. Because of this revolution, the seasons are causing. Then these are all the 2 reasons. Hope you have understood this one. Next one is, due to the tilt of the earth's axis of 23.5 degree, the sun's rays fall directly on different latitudes at different times of the year. So the earth is tilted. I told at the angle of 23.5 degree. Due to this, the sun's rays will fall on the earth's surface. So the earth is at the center and the sun is at the center and the earth is revolving around the sun. So while it is moving here, the sun's rays will be falling in this portion. Okay, in the bottom part. While it is the earth is moving here, the sun's rays are falling in this position. Okay. Now here the sun's rays are falling on the northern part of the earth, and here the sun's rays are falling in this part of the earth. So in different times of the year, the sun's rays will be falling on the different places on the earth. So this is explained in this point. So due to the tilt of the earth's axis of 23.5 degree, it is tilted to 23.5 degree, children. Because of this, the sun's rays fall directly on different latitudes at different times of the year. So in the consider that earth 1 year is divided into 4 parts because there are 4 seasons. So in the first part of the 1 year, the sun's rays will be falling on the southern part. In the second part, it will be in this part, so in the western region. In the third part, the sun's rays will be falling on the northern part, and in the last part of the year, the sun's rays will be falling on the eastern part of the earth. Because of this, the sun's rays are falling on the earth on the different latitudes, in the different places at different times of a year. So this is what explained here. Children, I told due to revolution the seasons are caused. So in a year we will be getting 4 seasons. So these are all the 4 seasons: spring, winter, autumn and summer. So we have seen this already. So in each and every part of season there is a day which is to be noted. So 21st March is called as spring equinox. In the spring season, 21st March is known as spring equinox. Then coming to the winter season, 21st December is known as winter solstice. 21st December is known as winter solstice. Then coming to the autumn season, 21st September is known as autumn equinox. 21st September is called as autumn equinox. At last is the summer season. 21st June is known as summer solstice. 21st June is summer solstice. So in summer and winter we are using the word solstice, and in spring and autumn we are using the word equinox. In all the seasons we have the similar dates only. It is 21st. See, here also we are having 21st in all the seasons. Only the month is going to be changed. You have to remember those months. In which month there will be spring, in which month there will be winter, autumn and summer. You have to remember for summer and winter season the word solstice is coming, and for spring and autumn season the word equinox is coming. All the dates are 21st. You have to remember the different months. Now we are going to see about this 21st March, which is spring equinox. What is spring equinox will be seen now. So 21st March, it causes equinox. This 21st March will cause equinox. Equinox means sun's rays are concentrated around the equator. In this period, the sun's rays will be falling directly on the part of the equator. Since the sun's rays are concentrated only on the equator, this causes the equinox. So while equinox is causing, the northern hemisphere is known as the spring equinox or vernal equinox. The northern hemisphere, the northern part of the earth will be getting the spring equinox or vernal equinox. Spring equinox, I have told already, it is also known as vernal equinox. In the southern hemisphere, while the equinox is causing, the southern part of the earth will be called as autumn equinox. So it will experience autumn equinox. So 21st March causes the equinox. Equinox is nothing but the sun's rays are falling directly on the equator. The sun's rays are concentrated around the equator part of the earth. The equator part we have discussed already in the last classes. So the northern hemisphere will experience spring equinox or vernal equinox, and the southern hemisphere will experience autumn equinox. These two you can remember easily with the help of this diagram. Next we are going to see about 21st June. First we have seen 21st March, which is known as spring equinox. So we are going to see about 21st June. It is known as summer solstice. Okay? The sun's rays falls directly on the Tropic of Cancer. So in spring equinox, I told the sun's rays will be falling directly on the equator, but in summer solstice, the sun's rays will be falling directly on the Tropic of Cancer. So the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn and all we have seen in our first class itself. Okay. Then the North Pole will be experiencing the continuous daylight for 6 months. So in the North Pole, if the Earth is there in the side of North Pole, it experiences continuous daylight for 6 months. For 6 months there will be only daylight. So it is the longest day of the year. So at this time the North Pole experiences the longest day of the year. Since it continuously there is a daylight for the period of 6 months, the North Pole will be getting the longest day of the year. So in the northern hemisphere it is called summer solstice, and in the southern hemisphere it experiences winter solstice. In the northern hemisphere the earth experiences summer solstice in the 21st June month, and in the southern hemisphere the earth experiences the winter solstice. So in the south pole it experiences the continuous darkness for 6 months. So this winter solstice is opposite to the summer solstice. If there is continuous daylight in the summer solstice, there will be continuous darkness for 6 months in the winter solstice. Then it experiences the shortest day of the year. See, here we have seen the longest day of the year. In the winter solstice, we are seeing that it experiences the shortest day of the year, since it experiences the darkness for most of the days. That is the shortest day of the year. So this is about 21st June. The sun's rays is falling directly on the Tropic of Cancer. The northern hemisphere has summer solstice and the southern hemisphere has winter solstice. In the North Pole there is a continuous daylight for the period of 6 months. So the North Pole experiences the longest day of the year. And in the South Pole there is a continuous darkness for the period of 6 months, and it experiences the shortest day of the year. This is about the 21st June. Next we are going to see about the next day. The next day is 21st September. So in 21st September it is somewhat similar to 21st March. So the sun's rays falls directly on the equator. Since the sun's rays is falling directly on the equator, it is known as autumn equinox. Since the sun's rays are concentrated around the equator, it is called as autumn equinox. So in the northern hemisphere it experiences autumn equinox, and in the southern hemisphere it experiences spring equinox or vernal equinox. So we have seen in the spring equinox itself, on 21st March we have seen that in northern hemisphere there will be spring equinox or vernal equinox, and in the southern hemisphere there will be autumn equinox. But 21st September is opposite to that. That's it. We have to exchange the equinoxes between the northern and the southern hemisphere. You can remember easily with the help of this diagram. So on 21st September it causes equinox. Why it causes equinox? The sun's rays falls directly on the equator. The sun's rays are concentrated around the equator only. So it causes equinox. On 21st September it causes equinox. The northern hemisphere is experiencing autumn equinox. In spring, on 21st March, in northern hemisphere it experiences spring equinox or vernal equinox. On 21st September, the southern hemisphere will experience spring equinox or vernal equinox. But on 21st March, the southern hemisphere will experience autumn equinox. Hope you have understood this one, children. So we have to exchange this thing. The 21st March and 21st September is opposite to each other. So we have to exchange this thing. But here it forms equinox only. The sun's rays will be directly on the equator only. So this is about the 21st September. Next one is 21st December. So this 21st December is somewhat similar to 21st June. So in 21st June we have saw that the sun's rays will be directly falling on Tropic of Cancer. But in 21st September the sun's rays falls directly on Tropic of Capricorn. So where the sun's rays will be concentrated? It will be concentrated around the Tropic of Capricorn. southern pole. The south pole of the earth will be getting the continuous daylight for 6 months, and it also experiences the longest day of the year. Since it experiences the continuous daylight for the period of 6 months, it is considered as the longest day of the year. Then the northern hemisphere, it experiences winter solstice. In the North Pole, there is the continuous darkness for the period of 6 months, and also it experiences the shortest day of the year. See, it is here we have seen that it experiences the longest day. Here it experiences the shortest day. Here in South Pole there is continuous daylight for 6 months. In North Pole there is continuous darkness for 6 months. It experiences summer solstice, and in northern hemisphere it experiences winter solstice. It is opposite to 21st June. In 21st June, here we have seen the northern hemisphere, and here we have seen the southern hemisphere. So it is completely opposite to the 21st June. And also here the sun's rays will be falling on the Tropic of Cancer in 21st June, but in 21st December the sun's rays will be falling on the Tropic of Capricorn. In this way the seasons are caused. There are 4 different days to be noted: 21st March, 21st December, 21st September and 21st June. When it is spring in northern hemisphere, it is autumn in southern hemisphere. And in the same way, when it is summer in this hemisphere, it will be winter in the opposite hemisphere. So it goes on swapping like this. In this way, the seasons are crossing regularly.
Children, now we are going to see about all the 4 days with the picture. So first one is March 21. See here, where is the sun? See, the sun's rays are directly falling on the equator. So March 21 is caused as equinox, because all the sun's rays are concentrated around the equator. So it causes equinox. In the northern hemisphere, it has spring equinox or vernal equinox, and in the southern hemisphere, it has autumn equinox. Next one is June 21. This is the picture of the earth on June 21. So on the earth, the sun's rays is falling directly on the Tropic of Cancer. Here you can see on the Tropic of Cancer only all the sun's rays are concentrated. In the northern hemisphere, it has summer solstice. Because of the earth's position, since it is tilted, the North Pole has continuous daylight for 6 months. So in the North Pole there will be daylight for 6 months continuously, and it experiences the longest day of the year. And in the southern hemisphere there is winter solstice. So the South Pole has the continuous darkness for the 6 months, and it experiences the shortest day of the year. Next one is 21st September. On 21st September also it causes equinox, since the sun's rays is falling directly over the equator. The northern hemisphere has autumn equinox, and the southern hemisphere has spring equinox or vernal equinox. This is similar to 21st March. The last one is 21st December. See, this is the picture on 21st December. Here you can see the sun's rays are falling directly on the Tropic of Capricorn. So here you can see the Tropic of Capricorn in this picture. The southern hemisphere has the summer solstice and it has the continuous daylight for the period of 6 months. So it experiences the longest day of the year. And the northern hemisphere has the winter solstice. The North Pole has continuous darkness for the period of 6 months, so it has the shortest day of the year. I hope you have understood all the differences between the seasons. So your activity is you have to write all the differences between all the 4 seasons. So I have told the 4 days. No, you have to write the differences between these 4 days.
We have came to the end of our session. It is the time for home assignments. Your home assignment is refer the given PDF and complete the classwork note neatly. So you will be getting a PDF with this video. You have to refer that PDF. I will be giving the question and answers and detailed answers for this lesson. You have to refer that PDF and you have to copy it in the classwork note neatly. Then your activity is write the differences between the seasons in a A4 sheet neatly. So I have told the differences between all the seasons in the form of tabular column. You have to copy those tabular columns in the A4 sheet neatly so that you can use those tabular columns for your exam. You can refer those tabular columns and remember while you are writing the exams